Well, I want to tell you that there is no good or bad decision made. I want you to take that first, write it down. Remember that a short pencil is worth more than a long memory, because we really forget quickly. We forget quickly. However, I want to remind you that all the information I am giving you at this frequency is being recorded in your subconscious. This means that even if you don't take notes, I recommend that you take notes to record it in your conscious mind. But even if you don't take notes, I am leaving the message in your subconscious. So the time you are dedicating to this space is very worthwhile, because I am leaving it recorded in your skin, in your spirit, in your soul, in your mind. I am leaving this message recorded so that later in the course of business development, life, family experiences, you start to act in this way. It's incredible. It's incredible what it does. The power of the word, that's another skill we are going to talk about. But today we are precisely going to talk about one that crosses our lives a lot every day, and that is decision making. Every day we are making decisions. Every day, from the moment you wake up, even while you're asleep, you're making decisions at that moment. You're making decisions. You make the decision to keep breathing while you're sleeping. That's a decision-making process. That's a decision-making process. So engrave this phrase in your mind that I'm going to tell you. A good decision made in time is worth more than a perfect decision made too late. How does that sound to you? Engrave it again. A good decision made in time is worth more than a perfect decision made too late. And the goal of this conference is for you to understand that decision making. The speed with which you do it matters, the precision with which you do it, because every decision you make has repercussions for years. I don't know if you've ever heard that, perhaps. The movement, let's see if you know it. The movement of a feather of a bird in Australia creates a tsunami in the United States. Have you heard of it? Well, something like that. What I'm saying isn't exact, but that's roughly the idea. In other words, everything you say, do, has a great impact. Mind you, a great impact on the decisions and actions of other people. That's why it's very important to be completely responsible for every step we take. Okay? I'm going to leverage this small presentation here so that you have all the pertinent information on the point, all right? Last week we were talking about one. Does any of you remember? We were talking about one, okay? It was vision, strategic thinking, right? And this time we are going to talk about decision making, and we will reinforce the others, okay? Very important. Let's understand this. Every leader makes decisions constantly. Who is a leader here in the room? Write to me in the chat. Who is a leader? Who considers themselves a leader? Who considers themselves? Say me. I consider myself a leader, from assigning tasks to defining long-term strategies, right? And the thing is, most of us always, like many people, are born without a manual, right? And we follow the manual of our parents, of our grandparents, and many of them acted in the following way. Neither bad nor good, neither bad nor good. But we always have the fear of making mistakes, right? Will I make a mistake if I make this decision? Also, sometimes the lack of clarity. We don't have enough clarity and it scares us. It scares us, we become completely paralyzed. Or sometimes it's that we want to have all the information. We want to seek perfection. And this often prevents us from making decisions. And the key is to make a quick, decisive, firm decision. And I am going to give you the key in this training. I will give you the key on how you can turn a bad decision, which at the moment you see as bad, and it's not bad. How you can turn that bad decision into an excellent opportunity. I will give you the key. If you stay until the end, at the end, I always share a little story from the great mentor of mentors, the great networker, the greatest networker in the world, my teacher. I truly consider him my teacher, okay? It says here, I must be a super leader because I lost, okay? Very well. I lost. Don't worry. The time for reward has come. The time to recover all of that has arrived. Don't worry about that. That's the least of your concerns at this moment, okay? All right. Catherine says here, me, perfect, very good. Diego says me, excellent, very good. It says a lot. It says here a lot of words, of course. Don't worry. Stay calm. Let me show you how this can be applied, to daily life. Very good, very good. Okay, so let's understand the following that I'm going to tell you and another question so we can start this training with everything. What happens when we decide slowly? What happens when we decide slowly? What do you think? We miss opportunities, right? We miss many opportunities. Many of us have always said, what would have happened if I had made this decision? Or if I hadn't made this decision, right? And sometimes what happens? We get stuck, we get completely stuck. And that makes insecurity grow. I see many people on my social networks, right? Many people who at one time were leaders, we were partners, we were friends and friends, just like Peter told Jesus, I'm with you until the end. Juan, don't worry. There it is. And there I mentioned the song by Sylvester Angon, Deny Me 3 times, deny me 3 times. And that's how it was. That's how it happened, right? But look, I'm going to explain something very important. There is one of the most recognized people worldwide in this era, in this century, and that is Mr. Steve Jobs, right? And he had to make radical decisions to know if what he was really looking for and what he wanted was going to reach the point. I don't know if you've heard the story, but the creator, well, the visionary, had a friend who was the one who did things, but he was the visionary. He was the one who said, look, this is going to happen here. Let's put it. What if we put on the screen? We put it so you click on the screen. Let's remove the buttons, What was happening at that moment? At that moment, BlackBerry was the market leader. Who knows what was happening? What were people saying? They mocked him saying, what? Remove the buttons? That's really the disgrace. You are going to lose absolutely everything. That's not going to happen. And well, what happened? They released the screen because they are the ones who introduced the touch screen. And what do the rest of the people start doing after they saw that it worked at the time, but that he fought every single day for people to understand it? So much was that struggle that it cost him his job. After having generated millions and millions of dollars for that company, Apple, he is fired, right? So what do I want to tell you with this? He is a person who made decisions despite the fact that many of them, because people only count and see the great results, see the success of the iPhone, but no one remembers the misfortunes, no one remembers the bad deeds. At the moment, it matters a lot. It weighs a lot, right? Because we are living in the moment. So, look, I made this bad decision, I made another one, I lost here, I lost there. But what you don't know is that every step you are taking is bringing you closer to what you are really looking for. How about up to this point? How about the information I'm giving you so far? Good or great? Look, all of us are making decisions completely. Every day we are making frequent decisions. We are making strategic decisions. We are making tactical decisions, right? In the medium term, in the short term. And I'm going to give you the key. And take note right now of what you have to do for things to work and happen, okay? I'm going to tell you what you have to do for it to happen. And it is that despite you making bad decisions, or even if you see that decision as maybe not very clear, or maybe you don't see that opportunity clearly, you see it, you see that there's a lot missing, you see that it scares you, you're afraid that the same thing will happen. And I reiterate what I said in the last training, tell me if not, please. I want you to tell me if Juan, you're right or not. Juan, you're right. After what I'm going to tell you next. Tell me if not, all of us spend our time living either in the past or in the future. Why do I say in the past? Because in the past, we are constantly saying, but what if it happens? But what if it occurs? But it already happened. But this already happened. Why is this different? Why this, that, and the other? Right? Or sometimes we are in the future, right? No, what already happened to me is going to happen again. It's just, do you know what's going to happen? This is going to happen. It's the same. The same thing is going to happen. The same thing is going to happen. So we are not living the most important moment of our lives, which is the one happening right now. The most important moment is not what you did or didn't do in the past, or what is going to happen, because the future is uncertain. No matter how much you try to write it, just recently, I read a text that said God has something prepared for you and will give you what you need to have. And this is not about chasing, no. This is about doing what you have to do by making decisions. But you think the decisions you make are made by you, and that's not the case. Everything you're doing at this moment is being motivated and influenced from the very first moment, from day one of your life. Now, here's the key. For things to work out for you, even if you make a bad decision at the time because you thought it was an excellent opportunity, because you placed all your hopes, because you were disappointed, whatever it is, what you need to do is apply the secret formula. And the secret formula is discipline, persistence, consistency, and perseverance. Many times things won't happen because someone else does it. Not many times, always. Things are not going to happen because of someone else. And it's very irresponsible for you to expect the world to conspire in your favor, for things to happen in your life. Do you understand me? It's very irresponsible to absolutely place the hope of your life, your future, your families, your children's on something or someone. What you have to do is leverage. Leverage that moment, leverage that person, leverage that company, and seize the opportunity. Don't wait. What I've seen many times is that people are waiting to see if maybe it happens. No. What you have to do is make it happen. Since I understood this, everything in my life started to get much better. I started achieving things, I started getting results, I started making money, I started having experiences, I started traveling, I started meeting other people. The worst thing that can happen to you is that you become paralyzed. Now, if you don't have that clear vision, if you don't have the willpower that's needed, you should stick to those who do. Because the most likely thing that will happen to you is that the result will be the same as what happens to everyone. There are two ways to participate in the world. One, you are the cog in the world in which you perform a task. Think of the entire world as a beehive, right? Or an anthill, right? Where everyone has their function. What do you want to be? Do you want to be the little soldier? The little soldier who is a soldier ant all their life, who is born a soldier ant and remains a soldier all their life. I don't know if you knew that ants have categories. There is another one who is the worker, right? The worker. And there's another one who is the queen. That's it. But I want to tell you this. Pay close attention. The ant doesn't have the possibility and the will that we have. It doesn't have free will. The ant is born that way. It can change. What can happen is that you become a king or a queen. The queen reigns because the soldier ants that emerged and the worker soldiers, the worker ants that emerged there, were created, given life by her. Okay? No little ant worker or soldier got there because it said, oh, I love this queen, I liked her, and I'm going to stay with her. That's not how it is. Each of the ants is because that queen created it. Do you understand the concept I'm telling you? I mean, for that queen to be a queen, from that number of ants, she had to give birth to them. They had to be born from her. It's the same thing I'm telling you with your dreams, your goals, your objectives. No one is going to come and give you the opportunity to become a queen or king. No, you have to create your world. You have to create the opportunity for yourself. And that is one of the tasks you have to undertake from this moment. Everything that has happened up to this point is designed under the plan for which you were created. Now, it depends on you whether it works or not. First, what you need to do is define the current problem you have. Okay? You must have a problem. You must have a situation to resolve, right? Do you have it or not? Yes, of course, I have it. Yes, I have the problem. I define the problem or the situation. Okay, I'm clear. After that, I gather all the information. What do I have? What information do I have at this moment? I have this, I have that, I have this, I have the other. Okay? I generate alternatives. What alternatives do I have? but be more, seek those alternatives. Pay attention to what I'm going to say. Look at those alternatives as they are. Not under the dream, not under the possibility. No, no, no. But really under what it is. Because many times we act under possibilities and hopes, and there, nothing is going to happen. There, nothing is going to happen. Okay. Fourth, you must evaluate the pros and cons of the decision making. But you have to do it quickly. I evaluate if I make this decision, if I don't make this decision, what is happening, what is going on, what is occurring at this moment. Okay. If I am being clear with what I am saying, please write to me in the chat. Juan is being clear? Do I understand what he is telling me? Do I understand what is comprehensive? Okay, perfect. Very well. Thank you. Thank you for that. Feedback is very important. For the speaker who, with all his knowledge, his experience, his interest, tries to convey the knowledge to you. Okay? Perfect. Write to me there in the chat if we are at this moment about, okay, it says, I am a queen because I am a daughter of God. Very well, very well. I am the daughter of a king and I am going to create my empire. Amen. Very well, very well. Excellent. I must be a super leader. Very well, that's right. Okay, excellent. Now, make the decision. Evaluate the pros and cons. Engrave this phrase that I am going to tell you. Always, always. Expect the best from things. Always expect the best from the things that are going to happen to you. Always expect the best. But have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. If you only focus on putting in the effort, the discipline, the consistency, never having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, a plan E, a plan F, undoubtedly you are going to lose. You are going to lose time, you are going to lose energy, you are going to lose life. What is the plan B that you have? I don't have a plan B, Juan. All my plans at this moment are down, they are below. Okay, perfect. I want to tell you that this plan we are developing called NV Global will have plans from A to Z. But for that to happen, you have to start making radical decisions. The first radical decision you have to make is whether this opportunity, listen very well, whether this opportunity that is being given to you at this moment, this opportunity is the opportunity you were waiting for and that you were looking for. And if it is not, stick with those people who are indeed rowing and putting all their effort to make it work. That is the only way I have been able to create. I have truly been able to create abundance in my life at this moment. It hasn't been any other way. It hasn't been any other way. I swear it hasn't been any other way. It has always been making 80 decisions and focusing on what I am good at, what strength I have at this moment, what weakness I have at this moment. Is what I have in front of me right now an opportunity, or is it a threat? And based on that, I apply persistence. Persistence, I don't give up. Let it not be because of me that the opportunity doesn't work. I go with a clear conscience knowing that I gave my 100% to make it happen. I didn't give up at any moment under any obstacle. On the path to success, it was always filled with doors that were closed, but I opened them with a lot of consistency. I did the right thing every day, did the work every day, and each time I pushed harder for it to happen. Okay? It's always like that. It's always like that. Under perseverance, because the mix of that perseverance allows me at this moment, the blend of persistence and hope happens in that way. At this moment, I want to bring here, I believe the woman I'm going to introduce next knows a bit more than you might know about me. Because she has been working from the inside, right? And when I met her, let's see, raise your hand if you're there. What if you're not there and I'm talking about you? Perfect. Hello, hello. Ah, okay, okay. Who said it was you? Just kidding, just kidding. Well, when I met her, yes, with fear, with doubts, with maybe many intentions. And from this whole process, I think that She's a good example to tell you about someone who has been perseverant, consistent, willing to unlearn and learn other things. And so I bring her up here. And I told her one of the great skills she has had to develop is to always be ready, right? Yes. I'm not one of those people who always has everything super planned out. Because sometimes you plan and nothing comes out. And in the end, what you have to do is solve things. You make a plan, and along the way, we always manage to stay afloat. That's one of the virtues I've taught her. And she has been a very loyal woman. The truth is, she has shown a lot of loyalty. And for that, I am grateful. And well, I'm going to do a little interview with her. She didn't even know I was going to interview her, but well, yes, Jessica Rodriguez is here. Jessica, good morning. How are you? How's it going?
Juan, very well. Yes, sir, very well.
Great, great. Ready for the interview, right? Watch out, I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's see if you answer them. Just kidding, kidding. You're going to answer from the heart, don't worry. And the people who are going to listen to you just want to hear your testimony and beyond that. Beyond the testimony of results, I want you to tell me, what is the most valuable thing you have been able to learn in this growth process that we have had together since we started working together? What has it been? 4 years, Jesus.
Yes, sir. Well, let's see. Well, there are many things, right? What you mentioned earlier about the topic of learning and unlearning. For those who don't know, by profession, I am an environmental engineer. So I was used to a different work pace, a different work environment. Everything was different. And starting to work with Juan, with his projects, with everything, made me discover other skills that I had and didn't know about. And when we first started, Juan told me, no, the first time he said to me, you're going to give a training session. And I was like, no, Juan, I don't like that. I'm not good at it. It makes me lazy. Honestly, I didn't like it. I did it because I had to, I admit it. But he has managed to develop in me the ability to do it calmly, not to get nervous, to improvise more easily. Well, other things I didn't know either, right? Let's say that mainly the topic of interpersonal relationships has been greatly enhanced.
In what sense? How have they been enhanced?
The aspect that it helps one to let go of shyness. So now in a meeting with people you don't know, you're less shy when it comes to speaking, starting a conversation. It makes you more fluent.
Well, if you could highlight one of the virtues you've been able to learn in this work process, in the way that I've obviously pushed you, made you do many things, what do you think is that virtue that you've been able to develop and you say, okay, I've learned many things, but this one, I think it has helped me to apply it in my entire life or in everything I do daily? Yes. That's the question.
The issue of solving. Always in life, one faces situations and one always says, no, I can't. And many people tend to say, no, I can't. And that's it. I leave it like that because I can't. And that's it. Working. Working here, one has learned that if I can't, but if I can't, there's another way it can be done, or someone can do it, or it gets resolved. So it's about solving it, not just saying I can't, but how do I do it? And you've applied that with your family in your life.
Yes, of course. Can you mention an example of that? Let's say something you remember where you said, I was able to make this decision for myself that I don't know. At another time, I might not have been able to handle or solve in the way I did, thanks to, I mean, I can say that I forced Jessica, yes, because I always told her, I said, well, sometimes there were things that were unknown, right? There were things with no knowledge at all. I told her, well, I don't know, solve it. I mean, that's not my area. You have to find the information and you have to solve it now. That's what you're here for, right? How could you highlight something that you brought up that you remember as very significant?
I think, Juan, that the topic of family upbringing, even in that, because then one also gets used to not saying it's not that I can't. I mean, I solve it. So when it comes to educating your children, when they tell me they can't, it's like, what do you mean you can't solve it? I mean, start, use your little brain and let's do it. So I think that would be an example.
Well, I want to tell you that having Jessica here, and she won't let me lie, having her here interviewing like this has been a process, right? It's been a process. Do you consider yourself to have been a bit introverted, shy?
I was not anymore, yes, and still it is a little difficult for me, not as much as before, but yes.
And that develops skill. What results do you think it has been able to give you? Something more tangible, something closer that has made you say, look, thanks to being able to develop this skill that I made the decision, and that's very important. Let me make a parenthesis there. Jessica could have easily said, no, yes, oh, no, I can't, and that's it. No, I'm not good, and I cancel, right? With many people who say, I can't anymore. This isn't for me. This isn't it. What motivated you? What motivated you to continue in that effort of learning and stepping out of the sketch to stretch yourself? Yes, if we're going to try it, we're going to learn it. Is it hard for me? What motivated you to be in that attitude, in that position?
Well, the truth is, since you're a child, there are many things you can't do. And I don't like not being able to. I don't like something being too much for me. So I took it more as a challenge. I mean, yes, I don't like it. I don't want to, but I can. So it's more like the psychological aspect that it won't be too much for me. And I do it even if it's poorly and I learn and improve. But I try.
What do you think could happen to a person if they join our workplace? I mean, what happens is that what has happened to me, and I share this with everyone, is that when Jessica is currently working in the team, I mean, fully, let's say she takes it as a job and is also developing the network, developing the team. But sometimes with the leader, well, it's like being more accommodating, right? Like you try to motivate them, to understand them. Yes, because we are trying to guide people in that way. But when you are inside and they demand from you and push you to do it that way, to achieve it that way, what do you think people could achieve in that sense? What have you achieved in that sense? Yes, that it's not like an option, but either you do it or you do it on a personal level, on a family level, on a business level. What do you think could happen to those people?
One discovers that they have a much higher level of productivity than they are used to having. Since we started the process of working with you and all this, there was a moment when I returned to practice my profession. And you realize that the work pace in other places is very
Slow.
yes. So one is used to running, solving, being on top of everything, and then you arrive at the traditional work environment and everything is very slow. So you're used to having an active mind all the time, being more productive, and you get frustrated. That is the truth.
They make people desperate. Of course, very likely if people were. I think it also has a lot to do with motivation, right? Because you might be able to learn to do things quickly, but if you're not motivated, and I think that one of the things that a job does, or that an activity like this does, where you get paid for it, well, that happens. It happens that one tries to find a way. And it happened to me. When I worked in the Air Force, I tried to put in the least amount of effort possible because they were going to pay me anyway. So whether I did it or not, they were going to pay me. And it's like one is very lax about getting the job done. It happened to me. I don't know if maybe that's how it is. You saw it that way, right? So how can one find that motivation to say, hey, I want this thing to work. I really want it to be useful. I want to contribute. What motivates you to make that happen, to make that occur?
Well, I think that the motivation for many is their well-being, their family. So if I am working on a project and I know that if I put in the effort, give it my all, do my best, that project will prosper, will move forward, then my family will also be well, my well-being will also be well. So when one is in a business like this, personal and family well-being is closely tied to corporate well-being, meaning if the company does well, I do well, so I make an effort and do it because I know it's not just for their benefit, but also for mine. So I think that's it.
Have you felt supported by our work, by our community, or by what we have been doing personally with us as a team? Don't say it. I don't want you to say it here. Yes, of course, just to try to motivate others, right? If not, do you think so? I mean, can you count on us in another way, not just on a work level?
One, well, I've been through some difficult family situations. In fact, well, my dad passed away recently, and it was a very difficult time for me, for my family, and it's one of those moments where you say yes, yes, no, it's worth it because I received 100% support from my colleagues, from my bosses, from everyone. And I'm not just talking about financial support, but I truly had to disconnect, to take the time I needed. So at other times, I've also had support in other ways, but let's say that one of the moments that was most difficult, most challenging, and I really felt 100% support from everyone. So yes.
And do you think that support can be shown? There are many people who are new here now. And well, they say, they might think the same. They'll say, it's the same, it's the same. Within our community, you've seen that we've supported them, that we've been there, that you who have been inside, because one thing is what is seen from the outside, right? What kind of decisions, without mentioning them, what kind of decisions have we had to make that you've seen here? It was really seen, I mean, that you could have mentioned that moment. It's drastic. I have them in mind, but I want to hear it from you. Maybe you have a different perspective. For me, it was a difficult moment that we experienced before, but that you might have said, here I don't know how I could have acted. If here I don't know what decision I could have made. Maybe if you could give us some hints, not mentioning everything, but it would be good to hear it.
Well, actually, yes, it's been quite a long time, hasn't it? We've been working for many years, so there are always ups and downs, difficult situations, good times, bad times. But in the midst of it all, what you see is that there is always support to try, to sustain, to motivate, to compensate. The team that is part of it, that also makes everything work, right? Yes, yes, always. And not only with the team, but also with the people who, let's say, don't belong to the corporate, but are there. They also make an effort and everything. So, of course, one always.
How have you seen us resolve things in bad times? I mean, what do you see that you salvage in that moment, in the bad moment, that you say, wow, I tightened this up?
One can say, well, these things happen. It's normal. We all make mistakes. This happens, and that's it. Let's erase it and start over. That's normal, right? But then instead of saying it's over, forget it, see you, what we do is try to organize what we have, where we want to go, and we are going to organize even if it's with small steps. We are going to resolve whatever happened, even if it's with small steps. The easiest thing is to say, forget it and let's start over. But instead of doing that, what we always do is resolve, even if it's little by little, to reach what we want to resolve.
Have the decisions we've made been bad or good decisions? What do you think from a general point of view? What is your opinion on that last question?
Well, decisions. Good or bad, they have been decisions. And finally, they have allowed us to stay in business and continue generating not only for the business itself, but also for other people.
If you could say in one last sentence or in one last intervention, yours, what is the most that a person with our team, with what we do as a community, what is the most they are going to learn? What are they going to say? Release. From here, are you going to take this away? Yes or yes? And this is going to help them for, I don't know, in your case, let's say in your case, what you say. These years that we have lived that.
No? Juan, actually from everything. Working within this type of business helps a person with absolutely everything. I mean, if they have a business of any kind, I don't know, earrings, shoes, whatever, all the skills one manages to develop, being in this business helps with absolutely any venture, whatever they want to do.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Jessica, it wasn't that hard. How did you find it? Super easy, right?
Yes, I think so.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much, Jessica, for being here with us. And well, I'm going to tell you, thank you, Jessica. I'm going to tell you one last story about a person whom I truly admire. I mean, for me, I think it's very hard for me to say this, what I just said, but I do admire this person truly because of the decisions they have had to make. And for me, they are someone who goes all in. I mean, they are not someone who is suddenly just taking a gamble. At this point, whatever decision he makes, he's already on the other side. But at the time when he was making decisions, it was something incredible. I read his biography, and I remember a lot at the time between the years 2008 and 2015, 7 years. This man had tried to launch a rocket. A rocket to launch it, just to launch it without any knowledge. Pay attention to what I'm going to say. Without any knowledge. And he said, I'm going to get into the space race because that's what needs to be done. And that's it. And he starts doing the work. He starts launching his rockets. And all the money he had made with PayPal, all the money he had made with another company, 2 companies, he put it all on a single bet. You have to have guts and be very visionary and have a lot of clarity. And I think the most valuable thing is that he makes the decision and takes responsibility. This is the most valuable thing in the training I'm giving you today. Make the decision and take the blessed responsibility. He's not looking for someone to blame, not this person, not that person, not anything. When you learn what I just told you, believe me, you will be able to move forward. You make a decision, and if it goes well, you take responsibility. And if it goes wrong, take responsibility. There are people who have directly stolen from me. There are people who have harmed me. There are people who XYZ. There are companies. There are many things. What have happened to me on this entrepreneurial journey? From the moment I understood that it wasn't their fault, but my fault, it was my responsibility. I let go and moved on and didn't stay stuck in the problem. I kept moving forward, kept looking ahead, kept growing. A person to whom I handed over $100,000 just like that, I handed it to him and said, look, my brother, I trust you, I trust you. And he let me down. And I let my community down. Is it his fault? No, it's my fault. For having trusted, for not having read, for not having had complete information, for having trusted. And you know what I said to that person? I said, thank you. Thank you, because now I know it cost me $100,000 to understand that. I would have liked it to cost me less, but no, that's how it was. And back in the year 2015, this man plays his last card. He had the means to launch. He had the money, $1 billion at that time, to launch 4 rockets. Each rocket cost him $250 million. And he said, we have 4 attempts, 4 opportunities, 4 moments. We only have 4 moments. We only have 4 moments. The first one falls, the other one explodes. The other one never leaves the station. And on the 4th, imagine the entire team, more than 1,000 people, with that pressure. Mother, it's our last attempt. And they hadn't been at it for just 1 or 2 years. They had been at it for more than 7 years. And at that moment, on that 4th rocket, they placed the most expert people in the world. The best scientists, the best technology, everything in the best way. And on the 4th rocket, it fails again. Damn. It was the 4th attempt. There was no more money. Everyone knew it. It explodes in the air. It explodes in the air. 5 minutes later, Elon Musk gathers his team. It's around 2013. And he tells them, I don't have any more money, but I'm going to play the last card I have. But it wasn't the last one, no. This is the last one now to settle. Now, yes, I'm going to sell all the properties I have, everything I have, what I've built with my life, my children's insurance, the insurances one has that are gambled. And he put all the money. And he said, we're going to work for 2 years. We were going to get that blessed rocket up. We were going to make that 5th launch. Everyone knew that the finances were super bad. They were super down. I mean, there was no option. There was no option. But that man gambles, leverages on loans, mortgages the houses, mortgages everything. I mean, he bets everything. He even gave a watch at that moment. He said, look, I'll complete it with a watch. Complete the budget and start working. Try to understand what I'm telling you, because it's been 5 years of frustration. I'm not talking about a month. I'm not talking about a business falling through in a year. I'm talking about you putting 5 years of your life, all the money, everything you had built over time, because of the blessed idea that you had to launch a rocket and land it. It's the year 2015. Everything is ready. Everything is prepared. That rocket launches. It delivers. It's a rocket that transports goods. I don't know. It's going to take something to the international station. It completes the mission. It comes up to that point. We already have half done, 50%. Now we need it to arrive and land, because he had it in his head that it couldn't be done. I mean, launching a rocket and letting it be lost. That was already done. Since the 60s, it was already done. No, this man wanted to land, defying the laws of physics, defying everything. Yes. Let me share a short video of that moment with you. 2. If I can manage to successfully set it up properly, let me know if you can hear it.
Can you hear it? I don't think so. Can't you hear it? No. No. Come on.
the darned rocket, just shuts off. It actually shuts off at that very precise moment. Indeed. And he doesn't say, this is bad. Thank you. It's going up. Oh. Look at this. Look. It's just sitting there. Look. I believe that. I have tried to share with you and make you understand a little bit of that moment, so that you understand the magnitude of what it was and what it has been. Today, everyone sees the result. Today, everyone sees how magnificent and great it is. From that moment on, Elon Musk changed the history of how rockets were launched, because this man managed to land. I mean, it's impossible. Up to that point, it was impossible, because aerodynamically, it can't be done. It can't be done. That's why airplanes land horizontally, because they need lift. And this man took a tube that weighs tons, and he lands it vertically. I mean, that's one thing that couldn't be done until that moment. There we can see perseverance, consistency, we can see many things, but the most important is that he made a decision. And what I learned that in the year 2018, more or less, in 2018, it was when I read that biography. There, I understood that decision-making happens and should be done by assuming full responsibility and putting 100% of yourself into it, and even more so for it to work. I have no way, I have no option to fail. When you have no option to fail, then you have no choice but to continue. No one solves things for me. I don't have anyone to solve things for me. So when you act that way, things start to work out. They start to get resolved. You find a way, as Jessica said, you find a way, and you don't stay stuck in the darn problem. So today's training is about stop just complaining about what happened. It's already happened. There's no way to change it. I mean, no matter how much you complain, no matter how much you fill your head with things, it won't change. Understand? It won't change. What you can do, and since the future is unknown, what you can do now is to place all your interest, your effort into understanding things, learning, unlearning. How hard is it? Because you've been doing things a certain way. And yes, it's hard because that's how it has worked for you. And what if? And what if you lose? But it already happened to me. And what if it happens again? And what if? And in what case? What if you stay? And life is very short. For me, if things go well, I might have 3 cycles left. I'm already not even 2 life cycles left. I mean, if I don't solve the problem in the next 10 years, then I'm not going to solve it. So I have to put in all the effort. I have to find the motivation to do it. Go all out so that it happens and comes true. The world is out there for you. The luxuries, the best foods, the best landscapes, the best moments are there for you. You are the one who doesn't want to receive it. It's available there. If you just put in a little more effort than anyone else, believe me, the magic will start to happen. You will see the magic, you will see what you call a miracle if it's not a miracle. We have, within us, we have the greatest power that could be given to us, and that is free will. The blessed free will also becomes an anchor for us, because since you can make decisions, you end up making the worst ones, or you make the ones that everyone else makes. And what is the one that everyone takes? Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, that was my life. And there's still a lot left to explore. There's still a lot to do, as long as you can move. And even then, there are people who can't even move, who can't even speak. There is a woman who has none of the senses. Wow. And she has written 3 bestsellers. How? With touch. With touch, they can't speak, they can't see, they can't hear. I don't know how they write with touch, honestly. I don't know how they communicate. But I do know that this person exists. There is a person out there who has been fighting cancer for 6 years. And when they thought they had already succeeded, that they had already eliminated it, it comes back again. And do you know what happens? That woman keeps battling again, keeps working again, keeps fighting again. Even I feel like saying, just give up. I say, just give up, please, don't suffer anymore. Because it's not like when you leave the house and you can move and you can laugh, you can go to the bathroom. No. For her, taking a step is a lifetime. I want you to be inspired by these words that I truly say to you from the heart, and take them in the best way. That my only intention is to empower. One of my greatest intentions, and what I love the most, is to bring that person out. They said, of that shell that is there, that keeps them trapped, and tell them that the world is for you and you can do it. That fills me up, and that's why I put effort into these trainings, so that you understand it. That is my motivation, that is my intention, and that fills me up. That makes me feel happy. That's why I strive so hard for you to understand it. The world is for you. Take it. Appreciate it. What happened, happened. From now on, focus and take advantage of this moment. I am going to take you there. I assure you, with all my leaders. We are going to take you there. To achieve the result, I assure you that it will happen. It will occur, not because I believe it, not because I have the ability, but because I do it every single blessed day. And when you apply discipline and consistency and focus on a single point, sooner or later it breaks amongst the period. Sooner or later, if every day you hit the same point, the same point, the same point. Yesterday, don't tell yourself it breaks. There's no other way. How are we doing up to this point? How are we doing up to this point? How are we doing up to this point? Please, I'm reading you, I'm reading you, I'm reading you, I'm reading you. That text from the Bible that gave us a teaching. A drop breaks the rock. Do you know it? Do you know it or not? Good, good, it says. Very good, 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 great. A small reflection to read them there, please. A small reflection. There, that's it. That's it. There, please. That's it. There, I read you. Thank you, says Carito. Very good, very good. If you know that little moral or that little saying from that text from the Bible, that talks about a rock, a drop broke. The rock. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or maybe you haven't heard about that. I am going to reflect because, as you know, I have always touched on this at the end of this training, of this DNA of leaders, this school of leaders, where I mentioned to insist, persist, and never. That's it. And I don't remember the passage exactly. But it said something like, it's not the strength of just one drop that breaks the rock, but the consistency of that drop, Ori. falling over and over again. It's not the talent, it's not the skill you have that takes you far, but it's that you decide to keep going, to insist until it's achieved. There are many people with talent and with impressive skills, but no one is more consistent than I am. No one is more disciplined than I am. And even if you're not, you repeat that constant mental anchor to yourself. You do the task again. You search again. You work again. You make the right decisions over and over again. Even when no one applauds you, when no one sees you, you are that drop. Every daily action, every disciplined step, every moment of persistence you choose today is shaping your destiny, is shaping your goal, is shaping your dream. The dream is the house, it's the car, but right now you are working for the wheel. Right now you are working for the door. Maybe today you don't see how the rock splits, but if you continue, the day will come when that will change. If you continue, don't give up, because sometimes we are so close that many give up at that moment. Reflect on what I just told you truly, as Alicia tells me here, Exodus 17:6. Okay, I will check it. I think that's right. Remember that all the teachings we give, everything, every coach out there, everything they say, what they speak, what they preach, comes from that sacred book. It was from that information. Someone 1,000 years ago took that information and wrote another book based on that knowledge and based on their experience. But if they hadn't had that sacred book, those letters, those scrolls, they wouldn't have been able to transmit that book. And from that book came another book. And from that book came another book, and another and another and another. Even the coaches and trainers we have today. So we must respect those words. And if you go to the source, you will find the right path. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a true pleasure to be with you here. Thank you very much for connecting. I truly appreciate it greatly. And also congratulate you for listening to me until the end. Thank you, and have an excellent day, excellent afternoon, excellent evening. This was Juan Manuel Jimenez speaking, Marketing Director for Latin America at NV Global. Take care. See you soon. Thanks to Jessica for serving as our testimony, and have an excellent day. Take care and see you soon. See you. Bye-bye.